Hey everybody, this is Brandon Myers, also known as the owner of Affiliate Tinder. I'm here with Mike Rogers. Mike, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Brandon? Again, I'm Mike from affiliatemarketertraining.com, and we're going to give this whole podcast thing a try, huh?
Yeah, we definitely are. I am excited to do it. We've been exploring a lot of different SEO topics as friends for a long time. I've had a lot of people ask me for feedback on what would be helpful for their websites. I'm obviously not going to give away the keys to everything, but I can definitely lead people in the right direction of how to be successful. So can you. And I think it's a good time for us to be giving back to the community. I think this will be fun for us to have this series.
Heck yeah, man. So what do you want to talk about today?
So I think the thing today that is most relevant to me is just different tactics that are working for you in search. I obviously work with the Daily Dot for search engine optimization and affiliate marketing in addition to my own websites. And some of the things that are working for me may be more interesting than others. I guess we'll start off with what's working for you lately and kind of what you see as valuable in the search engine space. Is there any particular thing that you're using nowadays that's working for you?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this all day, really, but and I know our strategies are a little bit different here as well, which I think is going to be useful for everybody to get a couple different viewpoints. For me, what's always worked in search since 2011 when I got started is going after the long-term strategies and focusing on very specific keywords. So I'll figure out what people are searching for in my niche by using keyword research tools. I personally like to use Spyfu. Spyfu.com has been a great tool for me to find keywords. I'm able to go in and even kind of spy on my competitors. I'll put in their website and put in my website, and they'll actually tell me what they're ranking for that I'm not. And I can actually see their search volumes, and I can see a whole bunch of stuff, even if they're doing pay-per-click advertising. I can spy on their ad campaigns. So it's really been a great tool for me. And what I'll do is go after those keywords where there's a lot of people searching for it, but not a whole lot of websites giving good information. And I'll try to just provide, the best page around that keyword that I can. And really that's worked out for me for like the last 7 years. Now these pages don't rank right away usually. There's usually a delay of maybe 3 to 6 months. But as long as I have the best content out there, around any given keyword that I want to go after, it tends to rank pretty well most of the time. So that's generally what I do, and Spyfu has been a great help for me.
Would you say that you focus on the terms more or the content itself? What do you think is important with your website over some other?
The content, of course, is extremely important. If you just have a website that is basically a digital brochure trying to sell people things all the time, it's not going to do well. So you do have to provide great value to your visitors. However, there's no point in creating great value or great content if you know that it's never going to be found by anybody. So there's multiple ways to get people on your website. You can use social media, all sorts of different ways, but I mostly focus on search engine traffic. And so I want to make sure if I'm writing content, I have to have enough hooks in there for the search engines to be able to know what I'm talking about. And so what I'll do is when I go after a specific keyword, say, the best 5 widgets in 2018. What I'll do is I'll put that in my headers, I'll put it in my meta tags, the description, the title. I'll make an image and I'll create the image file name as the keyword that I'm going after. And things like that to make sure the search engines know exactly what I'm targeting. And that way, you need to have great content, but then it also gets found by people because search engines know that's the keyword that you're going after.
Yeah, I think we both agree on the constant content strategy. I think that seems to be the most successful part about websites is, you have to have this keyword research side of your business, and you have to focus on places where you can be seen. That seems to be the thing of paramount importance to a website is getting people in the door initially, because there's nothing more important than traffic. But on the side of that, you don't get that type of thing unless you're constantly focused on the viewers' value and what value they're receiving from your website, because Google begins to notice that type of thing. I think if you're making a million different affiliate-based links over and over and over again, and they're essentially clickbait traps, which I've seen so many of those lately. The next sites with pictures to try and get the click-through rate. It's just kind of a sick game. I don't know why people waste their time making gimmicks like that as opposed to just writing an article that would be valuable to their users, because that seems to be the most important thing. One of the things you mentioned that I wanted to comment on specifically that's working for me this week is the meta tag as an SEO tool. I don't think many people view the meta tag as an SEO tool, but the way I'm beginning to think about search engine optimization and the way that Google crawls is that there are only so many things in HTML that something can pick up, whether it be a click or an image or a tag itself. There's only so many things that actually load into a page, especially through WordPress, that Google can pick up and essentially say, oh, okay, this is a term, or oh, this is what the web page is talking about. And one of the ones that's most obvious to me within WordPress is the meta tag itself. It's right there for you, and it essentially goes in this query string of search. So it's a direct parallel to Google itself, and so there must be some sort of SEO value within it intrinsically that's powerful. And I have a direct example of this. I launched a website about a month and a half ago that's around a fairly competitive space, in this case the gambling space. And there is a term out there that gets 12,000 unique search engine views each month, and by using a tag on a post where the term wasn't even on my page, I was all of a sudden ranking number 2. And so that is just inherent proof for me that using some sort of strategy within meta tag, even if it is going to be penalized and you need to pull it off later just to experiment, gives some sort of visibility into the search engine. Do you have any sort of feedback on that? I know you've been in this a lot longer than I have in terms of...
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I've always used the meta title tag and the meta description tag, which for those of you that don't know, that's what shows up in the search engines. The title will be the link, and the description will be the little blurb under the link. I've always used those. It's always been very important. There's also those other meta tags that you're talking about, like the meta keyword tags.
Within your own site, and essentially to index search within your own site.
Yeah, so I was under the impression that those weren't really important, that those were important up until about 2011 or so. But we're starting to see some evidence now, especially with some of the things that you've been ranking recently, that I'm starting to question that those actually don't matter anymore.
I think the algorithm might have changed, man.
They might have either started bringing them back a little bit because they were being abused at one point. But I think, now that everybody thinks that they're not used anymore, maybe Google is starting to bring them back a little bit. So it is something that I want to revisit just based on the experience that you've had recently.
Well, when you think about it, it's just a way of indicating what a page is to Google and making it easier for them to pick up the right page.
I mentioned earlier those hooks. You have to, you got to give enough hooks for the search engines to catch on to, and that's just one more thing. It's just one more place to put in your keywords. So I think it's a great idea. It's certainly not going to hurt or penalize you.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't throw in 100. I limit myself in every article. I cluster about 15. That's my general rule of thumb. If I go over that, I know I'm going to get dinged. Then I try to put it in 3 specific search areas, so I'm not clustering one area too hard. So, like for instance, with the gambling site, because it just tends to be a very competitive field, I don't feel like I'm giving too much away. If I cluster a certain team and against the spread, and then best sports book, and then another category like playoffs against the spread. There's 3 specific search categories there, basically. Team against the spread, area of the season against the spread, and then a whole other area which is best sports book. And all of those are included within the page itself. And so it's a way to cluster yourself within 3 specific, very competitive terms that you've already basically ranked and essentially associated importance to based on search volume, but they're still associated with your topic. And it seems to remain logical to the search engine and keep it ranked. And so that's what I think is the most interesting thing about all of that, is how you can use that to your advantage. And I know you like you love Spyfu. I haven't used Spyfu so much as I've used some other tools. If I had my perfect world situation, which most people don't, SimilarWeb, the deluxe edition, which costs a lot of money, gives you a simulation of just about every piece of traffic, all on the internet. So if you're running on an enterprise budget, check out our reviews, because I'll have a rundown of SimilarWeb. That thing is really robust. I remember the guy distracting me at Affiliate Summit East and saying, "Hey, you got to come over here. This thing changes the internet." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." And I walk over there and I look at what this guy has, and I'm like, "Holy crap! What are you?" It's like the guy had a nuclear bomb of SEO and referral traffic. He just knew how to dismantle companies one by one. But if we're looking at the budget-friendly SEO bloggers, who are most of our viewers, we're hoping, especially with the 2 sites that we have, the tools that are a little bit more affordable that I like to use are Ahrefs, which measures backlink juice, and essentially how powerful your backlinks are, and if they're also toxic or not. And also SEMRush. I really enjoy and use both of these tools in parallel, and some of the things that I find most interesting about them are the anomalies and statistics that are seen between the tools, actually between all three, in terms of volume. You can see how crawlers in general can be very different in the way that they measure the traffic of each page and how they measure the value of each term. There's no specific science to this, and I think that that's what Mike and I will tell you. But I really like a concoction of a multitude of sites to kind of give me an indication of what's working and what's not. It's really the best rule and a best practice. So if you have some level of budget for SEO research, having several of these tools makes the most sense. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I'm just remembering, there is another tool I want to let people know about too. I also use a Longtail Pro, which is a great keyword research tool, especially to go after some of the low-hanging fruit. Some of the longer search phrases that are a bit easier to rank for. It also works really great for local SEO. Now, they do charge a monthly subscription. It's a recurring subscription. Well, I think all these services are, actually. Now, Spyfu, I keep my subscription going because I use it all the time, not just for keyword research, but to also spy on my competitors as well. For Longtail Pro, if you sign up for that, what I recommend is sign up just for 1 month, use it for that month, and just do as much research as you can and download those into spreadsheets. And then you don't have to pay that every month. You can cancel and just resubscribe whenever you want. But it can save you a little bit of money that way. And Longtail Pro is great if you're going for that low-hanging fruit. So definitely go after that as well. I was also thinking, too, while you were talking, another way to help rank and give those search engines a few more hooks is interlinking in your website. It's very important. A lot of people talk about getting backlinks from external websites, which is great too, but a lot of people forego that internal linking. If you have a text, if you're writing your article and you write something down that sort of relates to another article on your site, definitely, absolutely link to that. And try to use those keywords as well if you can, as long as it sounds natural.
In the link.
More hooks that they can pick up on.
Yeah, it's another piece that they can index, right? Like that's what seems most obvious to me, is you have text links, you have inbound text links, which have certain anchor texts. You have texts that are interlinking within your site, and they have anchor links or anchor text, right, within the link itself that you can rank for. And you basically have your tags and your meta descriptions, which we talked about when you download Yoast and you start manipulating those things, which you absolutely should do. Yoast SEO, if you haven't put that on WordPress, it's free. That's like step one, basic SEO of like throw in a keyword and start ranking for it, because that's where we all start.
They have a paid version of that. I don't recommend it for anybody, though.
It's crap.
We're really running,
it's crap.
Price type of thing. It's not worth it. It's great. The free version is great and more than enough.
Well, I mean, you can learn more from watching us in 15 minutes than you can learn from picking up Pro. So The other tools, right? We talk about interlinking. I totally agree with you. If you're not interlinking your pages, you're really going to be hurting in the algorithm. It's just not going to work out for you. You need to study the terms that are being searched and throw that as your interlinking terms. Mike is tremendous at this. Within his sites, he really did invent a science of throwing links down on his websites in terms of making them desirable. Throw them in a space that's natural within your website, and so it feels like it flows. I mean, Mike's right. Put it in a place where it feels like the content will fit, but also make sure that the look and feel of the click will be correct in that part of your content as well, so that you're not being thrown out of an experience and into one that you don't like, because that's just going to force a bounce, and that's not going to make anybody happy. Ahrefs is a tremendously valuable tool for backlinking and grabbing anchor text and realizing what you're good at and what you're bad at. We're not going to talk too much about gray and black hat SEO here, but if you are participating in that type of activity, you won't be able to do it successfully without a tool like Ahrefs, which is going to measure your anchor text and the types of links that you're getting from the techniques that you're using, whether it's PBN or whatnot. If you're not using Ahrefs, you're really living a dangerous life of buying your links off of something that you don't know the toxicity of. That combined with SEMRush, which is kind of what Mike talked about, is a great tool. You can see quite a bit from a tool like that, and there are varying levels of measuring your keywords. I know that I pick up about 50 to 100 keywords so that I can measure them on the daily, and I focus on those to make sure that I get traffic in opening stages. If you are looking to competitively get something ranking quickly, I highly recommend investing that money, because seeing that daily and seeing how the SERP variation is hitting, SERP being search engine results page, without that you're really flying blind. Mike, I wanted to see what you think of those tools.
Yeah, absolutely. The more the better. I think if you're just starting out, pick probably one of them, and if you don't like it, most of them have a return policy. You can try it for 7 days. SEMrush, I know they have some areas where you can go in there and play around for a little bit until you hit a paywall, and then you have to pay a little bit more.
I think their trial right now is 7 days for $7, or maybe that's Ahrefs, but
yeah. So I would probably try a few if you're on a limited budget. Find the one that you like best and stick with that one. There's really no right or wrong answer here. It's just whatever platform you like the best, and whatever one is kind of working for your niche. But if you're on a limited budget, I would stick with one for now. If you have a little bit more, then absolutely use as many tools as you can, because they're all going to give you a little bit different information.
And the ROI is there if you use them correctly. I mean, you rank for one of these terms, you're getting the value of that tool for a year, if not 20 times.
If you rank number one for just one search term, that could pay off.
First page, anything in the top 5 will get you the type of traffic that you're looking for the type of tool that you'll be using here. Yeah. And it really does help when you're looking for the right header tags and everything within a page. So hopefully this video helped you out. Mike, thanks for being with me today and reviewing some of these. Hopefully this helped our viewers.
Look forward to doing more.
See y'all.
Yeah.